Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching. In case you're wondering, yes, I have eyes and brows done and no foundation, no base on whatsoever, and there's a reason for that. So today we're doing a review on the new Real Techniques Blend and Blur Base Foundation Brush. This brush I got from Ulta, and it's supposed to be pretty similar to an Artiste brush, one where it kind of like literally looks like a hairbrush, but you use it to apply foundation. This I got at Ulta and it was $19.99, and I've obviously never used it. I wanted to do a first impression review for you guys today. So we are going to open this bad boy up. I've never like felt it or anything. I wanted to see if this applies foundation well, better than a regular brush does. I don't know if it's gonna do as good of a job as like a sponge would, but we're gonna test both out and see. Initially, I am really impressed by the feel of it. It's kind of like that soft touch, smooth, like rubbery feeling, and it's got a really nice like copper embossed RT for Real Techniques on it. It's really small. It's smaller than the Artiste brush is. With the Artiste, I'm pretty sure it's more like flat. This is kind of more of an oval shape. It's super soft. I'm very interested to see how this is going to apply my foundation. It says, you don't blend in, but your makeup can. Leave them stunned with the Real Techniques Blend Blur Foundation Brush. The benefits are densely packed oval head for cream or liquid foundation application. Use circular motions to evenly apply all over the face. A unique curved design to easily fit in your hand. Easy to clean and long lasting. We're going to go ahead and use this with my cream-based stick foundation. And the reason I'm using this is because this is the foundation I use pretty much all the time. I wanted to use a foundation that I know works really well with pretty much any applicator. It's just such a flawless finished foundation. Hopefully this brush does it justice. I'm going to use cream on one side, the stick foundation, and then I'm going to use liquid on the other, and I want to see how the application differs, if it differs. Start off, actually before I do that, I'm going to prime my face with my normal primer. This isn't a primer, it's actually a moisturizer, but it has glycerin in it, so it helps the makeup adhere to it. And it's the Ultra Repair Cream from First Aid Beauty. I pretty much have used this in every tutorial since I discovered it. I love it so much. So again, I wanted to use products that I know work really well. I don't want to like set the brush up for failure. Oh my gosh, you guys, when I was applying my eyebrows this morning, woo, they were, oh my god, it took like 1,000,001 years to apply my brows today. I don't know what it was. Usually I apply my brows with foundation like underneath already. Maybe that's why. So it was just a struggle bus this morning. So these are struggle brows. Please do not judge. I'm gonna apply this. Again, this is the Makeup Forever Ultra HD Stick Foundation. And I'm just gonna apply this. I don't apply it in any particular way. I just kind of like do random strokes. Oh my god. This is high coverage. I didn't even need this much. I put way too much on. Usually, you know, with this, I forget this absorbs so much. This is really good because it'll make your product last longer. I want to spray it down a little bit with my Morphe Setting Mist just to get a little bit more hydration into this. I think it's really hard to get around the brows. I usually do brows after I do foundation for this very reason, because it's hard to get around the brow without messing it up. And because this is kind of rounded and it doesn't have a very precise edge, that's the only thing, is it's kind of leaving a gap. Also, the brush feels super kind of dry. It feels like I'm just like kind of scraping my face in a way. That's why I wanted to spray it down with some mist to kind of hydrate it a little bit. It's just feeling a little like rough. Not rough, I mean it's a soft brush, but it's just really dry. Probably because I'm so used to something like this that's super nice to your skin. It's like hydrating at the same time. It's really not leaving any streaks or anything. I don't even need to use a sponge. Normally with a brush, any kind of brush usually leaves like streaks, but because this is so densely packed and because the bristles are so soft, it just blends it in really nicely. So that's one side. I got a bristle hair in my foundation. If the bristles, I see that some of the bristles are coming up, so when you go to apply it, you might get some bristle like hairs stuck in your foundation, which is not cool. I don't like that. Okay, so first impressions right now, I am liking it. I want to see how it applies liquid. So we're going to test that out. I'm using 2 different shades because one's a little too dark and one's a little bit too light for me. And this is like my everyday foundation. Like I literally use this when I'm not doing full glam and I'm just like, you know, going to work, whatever. This is the foundation I use. Let's figure this. Oh yeah, I put way too much on. Oh no. I'm gonna look like cake face by the end of this. Kind of makes my hand hurt a little bit holding it because it's so small. Like my hand's kind of cramping from holding it. You see how when I do circular motions it kind of pulls at your skin? And I'm like literally lightly doing this. Like that's not even hard. But I feel like it's kind of tugging and pulling at the skin when I do that. So that's why I just like kind of tapping it in. I personally would not do circular motions. Like it's just dragging the foundation. When you do circular motions, you're kind of pulling the product in different ways and displacing it. So I would just kind of tap it into the skin. Okay, so foundation is on. This brush is pretty nice. I mean, honestly, it applied things really well for any type of brush. I mean, I tell you, I've used like the Morphe M439 was my go-to foundation brush for a long time. However, I never used it without using a sponge in conjunction with it because it buffs it in nicely, but then it leaves like all these like weird streaks. Like you could literally see like the bristle streaks on the face, and then I'd have to go over it with a sponge just to buff that all in. This, I don't have to do that. I mean, it literally, I think it's just how densely packed it is and the shape and the bristles themselves, but it really blends things in nicely. We're gonna go on to concealer now, and I may use this brush for concealer too, and we'll just see how that works out. So I'm gonna use my Tarte Shape Tape because again, this is like my go-to. That may be too much again. I'm so used to putting so much on. Obviously this isn't meant for concealer. This is a foundation brush. They do have smaller ones that are good for concealer, but I just wanted to see like how it blended the concealer into the foundation. If you didn't want to have to buy multiple brushes, that's why I wanted to test this out. So like if you just wanted to use this one brush for these 2 things, concealer and foundation, you know, that'd be nice if you didn't have to necessarily buy a totally different brush if you didn't want to. So the brush itself does a really good job with blending the concealer in. I mean, honestly, it does probably just as good of a job as this. Only thing is if you do apply a little bit too much, this isn't going to help you out any. It's just literally going to keep the product there, whereas the sponge kind of helps to absorb things. It makes it look a little bit more airbrushed. I'm tempted to apply powder with this. Let's just go for it, sure. Okay, I'm just like going ham with this right now. I am loving this for powder application. This does such a good job. The density of it really packs the powder in, but it's not leaving my face cakey looking or powdery. I mean, it just looks really nice. Like I'm saying, if you just wanted to do your base with like one thing, I wanted to see if this does foundation, concealer, powder, all of those things, so that, you know, if you wanted to just go out and buy one brush for 20 bucks, you could, it's like a multi-purpose product, which I'm always interested in finding those types of products where you can buy one thing and use it for a multitude of things. and I feel like this is that. Okay, just for fun, I don't even think this is gonna work at all, but just because, I'm gonna dip into my butter bronzer a little bit and see if this bronzes my face. This is applying bronzer so nicely. I'm like really astonished that this is doing such a good job at pretty much everything. Now just imagine though too, if you got the multitude of different sizes they have, look how chiseled that looks, but it doesn't even look harsh. It looks like blended perfectly. I don't think I'm gonna apply blush with it because I don't usually like to use a densely packed brush for blush. I like something super fluffy just to get like a light wash. If you apply too much contour, you know what to do. Just blend it out with your brush, your blend and blur brush. Alright, I've now got my base and everything tip top ready to go. I'm just going to do the lower lash line real quick. By the way, this lip shade I'm wearing, this is the Stila Liquid Lipstick in the color Beso. Alright you guys, let's talk final thoughts about this Real Techniques Blend Blur foundation brush. I am absolutely in love. And I'm not even exaggerating, you guys. This brush is so nice. I have so many pros and very little cons for this guy. Let's talk about pros. So first of all, just initial application of this, it goes on super smooth. The brush is super soft. You don't even really need a lot of product. As you could tell, I used way too much because I'm used to my sponge that absorbs a lot of excess product. This, you only need a little bit. That little bit that you use goes a long way, which is really great because you end up saving product that way. It's really great because this, compared to a brush, just like a regular foundation brush, it doesn't leave you streaky. It blends everything in seamlessly. It kind of does the same thing as a sponge does as far as giving you that flawless airbrush complexion. Now, the directions on the Ulta website for this brush say that you need to use circular motions, or it suggests that you use circular motions, and I'm really not a fan of that. Like I said previously, it's just, I feel like just kind of like pouncing it and buffing like this, like in sort of like light strokes, that gives you the best results. When you sit here and do circular motions, it tends to drag the product as you do that, whereas this kind of, you're just buffing it into the skin. So that's just how I do it. You do however you want to do. I don't know. I love this brush. You know, I used it for so many different things. I used it for foundation, for concealing. Now, obviously, you know, you'd want to maybe look into getting the smaller version of this for concealer if you really wanted to get up under the eye area nice and tight. And I just feel like this brush is multi-purpose. I wish the handle was a little bit thicker because when I'm like holding it, my hand is kind of like cramping up because I'm having to like hold it. It's so small like this. So I just wish that the handle itself was just a little bit thicker so I could really grab onto it without like cramping my hand up. The soft touch, this rubber material is really nice though for gripping. The size is really great. I mean, if they made it any bigger, that might be even better because you can really get more places faster. But the size of it itself is really, really nice. And I really like this brush, you guys. I highly recommend it. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you found it informative. If you like these types of review videos, then definitely give it a thumbs up so I know to keep filming videos like this. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you in the next one. Little bit, and that little bit that you use goes along. This is the Stila Stay All Day Liquid Lip Shit. Liquid Lip Shit. I don't even know.